ما شاء الله لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. نعم الوكيل، نعم المولى، ونعم النصير. ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله قاسم الجبارين، مغير الظالمين، مدرك الهاربين، والصلاة والسلام وتحية والإكرام على النبي الأمي المكي المدني الهاشمي الذي سمي في السماوات بأحمد وفي الأراضين بأبي القاسم محمد. وعلى أهل بيته الأطيبين الأطهرين، سيما أولهم أمير المؤمنين وآخرهم بقية الله في الأراضين، روحي وأرواح العالمين لتراب مقدمه الفداء. ورحمة الله على محبيهم ومواليهم وشيعتهم أجمعين، ولعنة الله على أعدائهم وقتلتهم وغاسل حقوقهم ومنكري فضائلهم العنين. Amma ba'd, for the happiness of Hazrat Zahra Marziyah, for the enlightenment of the graves of your Mahmumeen, of the graves of the Shahida, Ulama and Siddiqeen, for the safety of the followers of Ahlul Bayt around the world, and for the safety and the hastening of the reappearance of Hazrat Baqiyatullah al-A'zam, Arwahun al-Fida, please recite your loudest salawat. All praise is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one who is Rahman and the one who is Rahim. The one that has given us opportunity to sit once again and observe another day of the holy month of Ramadan. And as I said a couple of days ago, we need to take account as to what it is that we've done, what it is that we've changed in our life in the holy month. Because it is the month of reform, it is the month of change. If I am exactly as I was on the first night, then this month hasn't been of any benefit to me so far. But if I in some way, shape or form have changed my way of life, the things that I do, I've tried to suppress my anger, I've tried to suppress my pride, my jealousy, I've tried to remove all these diseases from myself, I've tried to be less hateful towards people, then I'm on that journey towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm on that journey towards happiness, that state of happiness. And that's what we've been discussing. Through the words of Amir al-Mu'mineen, that what is this happiness? How can we achieve happiness? That both physically and spiritually we are content, not just content, but happy. Radiyatam maradiyya. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks to nafs al-mutma'inna. And he says there's a mutual conversation. Ya ayyatuha an-nafs al-mutma'inna, irji'i ila rabbiki radiyatan maradiyya. That, O the content soul, return back to your Lord in the state that, or knowing that He is happy with you, but you also be happy with His Lordship over you. It's a two-way street. When a person reaches that level, now it's radiyatan maradiyya, that a person is not just satisfied upon Allah, but Allah wants the person to be satisfied. Allah is not just satisfied on the person, but rather He requires the creation to be satisfied at His Lordship. That He wants us to say, yes, we're satisfied with you being our Lord. And then He says, irji'i, now come. Now return back to me. Don't return back to me in the state, because you have fulfilled all of what I wanted you to do. You have become nafs al-mutma'inna. But now don't return to me until you say that you are satisfied with my Lordship. when one achieves that happiness, achieves that state of contentment, then for them it doesn't matter in what state they live. But in order to achieve those levels, in order to achieve that happiness, a person must dive into the darkest parts of their soul. They must go in to those parts of the soul that have not been touched, those parts of a person's personality that have never been stirred. And at times we have to place ourselves in those positions of stress. We have to place ourselves in front of those stresses in order to check whether or not the nafs has been defeated or not. I gave you the example a couple of days ago. I said the one, Alama Tabatawai says, it's like that of a pool of water that has rubbish in it. You leave it undisturbed, all the rubbish falls to the bottom. And then we get this false sense of religiosity, this false sense of spirituality. But the moment something falls inside that water, all the rubbish comes back up. I'm living through the holy month of Ramadan. I feel more religious, I feel more relaxed. But the moment someone says something that annoys me, all that rubbish comes back up. And it shows that that sense of spirituality that I had is a false one. It's not real. It's fake. Because I haven't dived to the depth and removed that rubbish. It dwells in the darkest parts of the soul of an individual, that it cannot be removed until we contemplate, we think about it. And once we've removed it all, and the waters truly become clear, then a person achieves happiness. Then it doesn't matter to them. You know, Imam al-Hadi is found when he's taken to Samarra, that they keep him, Mutawakkil keeps him in the stables with the horses. And one of the Shia of the Imam comes, he sees the Imam and he begins to cry. He says, Yabna Rasulillah, you and here? The Imam says, our position is our position wherever we are. We are an Imam wherever we are. Don't look at this place and think that, you know, in some way this is lowering us. No, our position has been given to us by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is not something that concerns us where we are. When a person is satisfied, has that achieved that happiness. But it can only be achieved when we start to remove those diseases that exist within. Those demons that dwell within the darkest parts of our soul. That demon of anger, that demon of jealousy, that demon of hate. We carry around so much hate within us. And we don't realize the concept or the idea of hate. Sometimes we take the idea of hate and try and apply it to the enemies of Ahlul Bayt. But even there, hate does not apply. See, because I can't say that I hate something, because everything was created in perfection. So if I say that I hate something, it means that I'm hating on the creatures and the creation of God. So then what is la'an? La'an is not hatred. La'an is dua. La'an is that I'm saying, oh Allah, remove your mercy from this individual. He's your creature. He's your creation. I don't hate the physical entity that's in front of me or that I've heard about. But I hate his actions. I don't hate the physical because you created it. That was created in perfection. I hate his actions. And so as a result of hating his actions, I ask you to remove your mercy from him so he ceases to exist. Hatred is something that pulls people down. It keeps us grounded. It stops us from ascending. It weighs down the soul. And when you let go of hate, instantly you feel lighter. See, when you let go of hate, now when someone wrongs you, and they go and then they come back to ask for forgiveness, you can forgive them. See, when you let go of hate, when someone spits at you, swears at your father, swears at everything that you know, you can still turn around and say to them, you look like a traveler. Do you need something to eat? Do you need clothes to wear? Do you need a place to stay? As is shown in the life of the second Imam. That someone from Sham comes, he swears at the Imam, he spits at the Imam, your father was like this, he is like this, he did this. The Imam says, what you have said, if it is true, may Allah forgive me. And if what you have said is a lie, may Allah forgive you. But it looks like you're a traveler, that you're not from here. Do you need a place to stay? Do you need money while you're here? Do you need something to eat, some clothing, a ride? Because when we let go of hate, of the entity, and we hate the sin, not the sinner, then we don't get bogged down with all of these things. So hate is another thing. One of the other diseases that will stop a person from progressing, and it is a disease that many a times we try and present in being a good trait. We call it shrewdness. We call it good money management. And we dress it up in various guises. But the disease of miserliness, of being bakhil, is one of the greatest diseases in a human being. In Hikmah number 126 of Nahjul Balagha, Amir al-Mu'mineen says, I am shocked at 6 things. The first that Amir al-Mu'mineen says, عجبت للبخيل يستعجل الفقر الذي منه حرب ويفوته الغناء الذي إياه طلب فيعيش في الدنيا عيش الفقراء ويحاسب في الآخرة حساب الأغنياء. Says, I'm shocked at the miser. I wonder at the miser who is speeding towards the very destitution from which he runs away from in this world, and misses the very ease of life, the happiness of life that he so chases. And consequently he passes his life in this world like the destitute person, like a person that has nothing. But in the Akhirah he will be judged like a man that was rich. Says that in this world he has the money to live a good life, to live a life that is of a certain standard. After having given all his sadaqah, his khums, his zakat, and plus some. He has money, but he chooses not to spend it. He chooses not to spend it. And Imam says that dunya, that ease of life that he's looking for, by not spending the money, he doesn't realize that he won't achieve it. And that akhirah that he's heading towards, where in this world he lived like a destitute, didn't want to spend any money, in the akhirah he's going to be judged like a rich man. And what a loss is he. Imam says, I'm shocked at that individual. At that bakhil, that individual that is miserly. And miserly doesn't necessarily mean that the person is miserly with money. That's one aspect. Person could be miserly at, with all the things that they own, like time. They could be miserly with, with their experience. I don't want to give my time towards something. I don't want to help someone with my experience because I'm afraid they might get better than me. Yeah, so I don't want to tell someone, oh, this is how you get into this industry, start this. I don't want to tell someone, oh, look, here's where I started my business from, I did this. Because I'm miserly with that experience, with that knowledge. I don't want to give it. I'm miserly with my expertise. That now people are saying to me, look, if you come and become a director of the Husayniyah, it's something good, you bring something beneficial. But I'm like, No, I don't want to do it. Someone else will do it. Because I'm miserly with my expertise. Miserly with my time, because I know that now I have to come and open and be one of 2 people that are here. This is all bukhl that manifests. And Amir al-Mu'mineen says he's shocked at that person. You know, shock is when, you know, something's so obvious, but the person still does it. It's so obvious that it's something bad for you, but the person still does it. I'm shocked at the person that has diabetes, but eats a mountain of donuts. I'm shocked at that person who knows what to do in this religion, knows what's right and wrong, but still chooses to go the opposite way. Or you get shocked at a person that knows that fire burns, but they still put their hand inside it. Amir al-Mu'mineen says, I'm shocked at that person that is bakhil. So I wonder at him. The person that is speeding towards that very destitution in the akhirah, that he runs from in this world and misses the very ease of life, that happiness in life. Because of it, consequently he passes his life in this world like a destitute, will have to render an account in the next world like the rich. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will question us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to give from that which He has bestowed us. If it is experience, if it is time, if it is wealth, if it is physical strength. مِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ. And they give from that which they have been bestowed with. I'll be questioned that you were given a youth. What did you do with it? You were given strength. How did you use it to help fellow people? You were given the knowledge. What did you do with it? You had time on your hands. Where did you spend it? All of these things will be asked. And bukhl is such a disease that it will stop a person from achieving happiness, because the person is always so insular, doesn't want to do anything. The narration says, "Al-bakhilu ba'idun min Allah, wa ba'idun min al-nas, wa ba'idun min al-jannah." Says the bakhil is distant from Allah, he's distant from the people, and distant from Jannah. He's distant from Allah, because Allah is Jawad, but he's bakhil. He doesn't want to give in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Doesn't want to give in that way, or give in any way. Just wants to keep it. Ba'idun min al-nas, he's away from the people, he's distant from the people because he doesn't want to spend, so the people don't want to be around him, or he himself is afraid of spending. There is one level that is worse than a bakhil. We'll come to that. The bakhil doesn't want to spend from himself. وَالسَّخِيُّ قَرِيبٌ مِّنَ اللَّهِ قَرِيبٌ مِّنَ النَّاسِ وَقَرِيبٌ مِّنَ الْجَنَّةِ وَقَرِيبٌ بِالْجَنَّةِ. Said the sakhi, the person that wants to give, qaribun, he's close to Allah, close to the people, and he's close to Jannah. Because Allah is generous. So the one that is generous, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves that trait. It's a godly trait to bestow, to be generous. And every human being has the ability to become godly. Not God, godly. To display the characteristics. If Allah is Rahman in its totality, then I have the ability at 0.000 whatever percent to also show beneficence. If He is Rahim, then I have it at the lowest degree to be able to show mercy. if he is generous, then I have it at the lowest degree in my own capacity to show generosity. In Surah Al-Layl, verses 5 to 11, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala refers to a story that took place during the time of the Holy Prophet. There was a man that lived in Medina, and in his garden he had a huge date tree. And it was so large that it would go over the walls, sometimes into the neighbor's garden, but also into the street outside. And these dates would fall onto the ground. So the children from the next door house would go outside and they would pick up the dates from the ground and try and eat them. This man would go out and grab hold of them and remove the dates from their mouths, hit the children and move them away. So don't eat my dates. Incidentally, this itself, we have narrations that if you have a fruit tree in your home, then make sure that you apportion part of it for your neighbors. In the life of the sixth Imam, you find that the Imam had an orchard and he made 10 entrances to it so that the neighbors could come in and eat. And the narrator says that one year when we started taking the accounts for the Imam, we began to realize that the Imam had given 3/4 away to the neighbors that had come and taken it. And then the Imam took 1/4 to his house. But then he took that 1/4 to his house and he said, now go round just in case and see if any of the neighbors may have been ill or something that they haven't received their amount. So go and ask them who hasn't had anything. And then even that the Imam would reduce even more and give out. This individual had a tree. The branches that were going out of his home on the street, the children pick it up, he would go and take it out from their mouth and argue and shout. And so the parents, they go to the Holy Prophet. Say, Ya Rasulullah, what do we do? This guy, he's made our life hell. We can't stop the children. The Holy Prophet says, okay, let me call him. So the Holy Prophet calls him. He says to him, look, sell me the tree and I'll give you another tree equivalent to it. He says, no, I don't want to sell you this tree. It's got the sweetest and the best dates on it, and I don't want to exchange it for any other tree. Holy Prophet says, okay. He says, sell me this tree, and I will guarantee you a tree in Jannah. Says, but this tree gives me the yield now, I'm going to have this much money by the end of it. Oh, Jannah, God knows. When is that going to come? Rasulullah says, khair, okay, fine. He goes. The companion of Rasulullah, Abu Dahda, he's sitting with Rasulullah. He says, Ya Rasulullah, would you give me the same price for this tree if I was to own it? Rasulullah says, yes. Abu Dahda runs after that man. He says to him, look, sell me this tree. I have an orchard outside of Medina or within Medina where there are 10 to 15 trees of the same type. You take them, sell me this one tree. The man says, okay, yeah, 10, 15 trees, that's fine. So he sells him that. He gives him the orchard, he takes the tree. This man now comes back to Rasulullah. He says, Ya Rasulullah, I have that tree. Will you buy it from me for a tree of Jannah? Rasulullah says to him, yes, I guarantee you a tree in Jannah. The exchange happens. The ayah reveals from the Holy Quran, comes from the Holy Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala begins to talk about this incident. He speaks about the bukhl of that first man. He says, وَأَمَّا مَنْ بَخِلَ وَاسْتَغْنَى. He says, and as for the man who was miserly and considered himself free from the need of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَكَذِبَ بِالْحُسْنَى, and rejected that which was best for him, we will facilitate for him a difficult end. Meaning, the word that is used here is that we will make difficulties easy for him. Now difficulties want to come his way, no problem. Everything will become difficult. No matter what he touches will be destroyed because of his miserliness. Because he didn't want to let go of it, that disease, that being a miser. It was so rooted in him, he didn't want to let go. And so Allah says, now we will make difficulties easy for him. فَأَمَّا أَعْطَى وَاتَّقَى. But the one that gave and feared, had taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because he gave it for a tree in heaven. وَصَدَقَ بِالْحُسْنَى. And accepted that which was best, that which was the best of the transactions. We will facilitate for him an easy end. Meaning we'll make easy for him. Now he touches dirt, it will turn to gold for him. Whatever he puts his hand towards, he will be successful in it. No matter what path he chooses, we will make it easy for him. Why? Because he was ghani, because he was a person that was jawad, he gave. He wasn't bakhil. So now, whatever he touches, we give it to him. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the same way, for sadaqah, he said, you give sadaqah, I'll give you 10 times in return. But there's something more as well. It says, if you don't give sadaqah, but rather you give someone a loan, qarz hasana, a non-interest loan, a zero interest loan, interest-free loan. That's the best way of saying it. If you give someone an interest-free loan, if you give someone sadaqah, I will give you 10 times in return. But if you give someone an interest-free loan, I will give you 18 times in return. Why? The important. Someone asks you for money, give it to them as a loan, as a qarz hasana, because you get more from it. The reason for it is, when you give sadaqah, there is a little bit of humiliation for the person receiving the sadaqah. But when you give it as qarz hasana, you're now raising the person's self-esteem. You're saying, I'm giving you this money, but I'll give you a term and you return it back to me. You invest it, you start a business, do something, but I want my money back. Now this person now hasn't taken sadaqah, he's taken qarz hasana, he's raised himself, his own self-esteem. And Allah says, for raising his self-esteem, I'll give you 18 in return. I'll give you 18. If you'd given it to him sadaqah, 10. But you give him in qarz hasana, 18. And then it's up to you afterwards, you choose to forgive it or not. Many people give their fitrana like this, their fitra, zakat al-fitra in advance. Because they know certain people within Shahr Ramadan don't have the money to have iftar throughout the month. So they will give them money before or during the holy month and say, this is qarz hasana. This is a loan for you to get through the holy month. When the day of Eid comes before the time of Dhuhr, they change their intention, or the night before Eid, they change their intention to fitra. So from qarz hasana to fitra, and then that's accepted as well. But what you've done there, in this way, is that you've reaped the benefits of both things. You've given qarz hasana, and also you've given your fitra. That qarz hasana, you've enabled someone to have iftar throughout the holy month, and then obviously you fulfilled your obligation of fitra. Another ayah that comes in the Holy Quran that appears twice in Surah Al-Hadid and ayah 24 and Surah Al-Nisa ayah 37. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, الَّذِينَ يَبْخَلُونَ وَيَعْمَرُونَ النَّاسِ بِالْبُخْلِ. Says, those who are misers and those who enjoin, who tell others to be misers. There's one person who's a miser himself, doesn't want to spend any money himself. Another person is and he stops others from spending their money. Says, And whoever turns back, then surely Allah is the one who is self-sufficient and praises that He doesn't require you in any way. But here He shows that there's two people, two types. The bakhil and the one that stops others from giving. In the time of Imam al-Hadi, salawatullah wassalamu alayhi, one of the companions of the Imam comes to visit, says, Ya ibn Rasulillah, I have come from Kufa to here, to Samarra. He says, I have a debt on my head that I can't afford to pay. Please help me. Imam al-Hadi turns to him, he says, I don't have any money with me at the moment. I can't afford to give you any money to help pay this debt off. But he says, but do something. Says, I don't have money, but I have izzah. I have honor. Says, yes. So Imam says, so do this. You pass me your debt. Do the niyyah that you indebt me to you for this amount of money that you owe that person. Says, okay. And he says, and tomorrow I want you to come into the masjid. And I want you to start shouting at me and saying, give me back my money. You took my money. I want my money back. Says, Ya ibn Rasulillah, how can I do this to you? He says, no, I want you to come in and I want you to act like I'm about to be humiliated if I don't pay this money back to you. And I want you to shout about it. Says, Imam, says, I'm telling you. Says, okay. So the next day, Imam goes, because Imam al-Hadi was under the watch of Mutawakkil, under the watch of the spies of Mutawakkil. The Imam knew what would happen. So he comes, now this man comes in, you owe me money, you've done this, shouting, shouting, shouting. The spies go to Mutawakkil, say, oh Khalifa, the man that you brought from Medina, that son of Rasulullah that you brought, you've cut off his money and everything, he owes people money. You've cut off his money, you've not given him anything, he owes people money, they're shouting, people are shouting at him, he's standing up, he's about to be humiliated. The son of Rasulullah is about to be humiliated. Mutawakkil says, okay, take 30,000 dinar. He sends 30,000 dinar, they bring it to Imam al-Hadi. Imam al-Hadi takes the whole amount and he hands it to this man. He says, Ya ibn Rasulillah, but my debt is less than this. This is 30,000, my debt is less than this. The Imam says, go pay your debt, use the rest upon your family. Use the rest upon your family. Now some people often say, yeah, but Imam took money from the Khalifa. Sometimes we like to think like super ahead. That, that was Baytul Mal, that was haram. The Imam shouldn't have taken that money. No, Baytul Mal is the haqq of the Imam. The one that sits on it is ghasib. The Imam is just taking his haqq from him. Takes the haqq, he passes it on, he gives it to the man goes. This is, if you can't do it, there's another type of person, there's another type of ghani. A person that doesn't have the money, but says, you know what, I can try and help you, I'll ask other people. And that person has more thawab than the one that gives from his pocket. The person that doesn't have anything, doesn't have enough to give, this doesn't mean that we have enough to give, but we're like, okay, let me go and ask someone else as well before I give it to you. No, I have enough money or enough time or whatever to give to the person. Then if I give it, that's fine. But if I don't have it, and someone's come to me with a need, then when I go around to each person and I ask, look, there's a brother in need, please help them, whatever, and I get that money and I pass it on, the thawab is increased because I worked to try and help another believer. Being able to give, even in a state of not having much. The most loved sadaqah, the most loved giving is when a person does not have. One of the signs of the mu'min is that he will give sadaqah when he doesn't have much. When he's got less, he gives sadaqah. Even when he's in ease, even when he's in difficulty. It doesn't matter. They will give. And that ability to give, that ability to pass on, that ability to constantly, be not afraid to part with things, with time, with money, it will all add up. The zakat of knowledge is to pass it on. If you don't pass it on, it doesn't increase. Being able to give in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sheikh Abdul Karim Ha'iri is the individual who set up the Hawza in Qom. There's a story about him that you're a very hugely pious individual that set the foundations for all that we see today. But when he left this world, Imam Khomeini Qudus says about Sheikh Abdul Karim Ha'iri, like the head of the Hawza, everything. Marja says when Sayyid Abdul Karim Ha'iri died, that night his children slept hungry because there wasn't any food in the house. All that humps, all of that coming in, not a single penny used. Says his children, the day that he died, his children, his family went to sleep hungry because they could not afford to buy food. Now we look at the misuse of the funds of the Imam. People in their cars and their huge homes, utilizing the money of the people. Everyone will be questioned. We will be questioned as well, that we were given funds to use in the way of the Husayniyah. How did we use it? How did we better spend it? People gave funds. What did we use that money for? To buy food? Or did we use it to get more lectures, more educational seminars, more things that will raise? Because we will be questioned. And we have this. I mean, here, alhamdulillah, you don't seem to have that problem. But in England, in some of our, specifically Indian and Pakistani masajid, our biggest problem is what niyaz will we give the people? We have meetings, hour and a half, what's going to be the menu for niyaz? This is the money that people have given for the propagation of the deen. We will be held responsible. We are custodians of it. Sheikh Abdul Karim Ha'iri, they say that one day he was in his house, a beggar came and she was knocking at the door. The servant, he opened the door, she said, my husband's ill, we haven't got any food, we need coal. Yeah, we need some coal. We're destitute. The servant says, oh, no, we haven't got anything. Sheikh Abdul Karim is sleeping, and he shut the door. Sheikh Abdul Karim wasn't asleep. Came down, he said, who are you telling I was sleeping? Says, oh, this beggar lady, she's come and she was asking for her, I told her, I got rid of her. Says, why did you move her away from the door? Why did you tell her to go away? You know that we have coal, we have food in the house. Well, he says, oh, Sheikh, I know who she was. I know where she lives. Yeah, she's around here, I know that. If you give it to her today, tomorrow she'll be back again. We have this idea. I've seen it here in America as well. Sometimes you have people that come and they sort of sit outside the Salat al-Jum'ah, asking for money and things like that. And I've heard people say this, whether or not we choose to accept what their excuse is and whatever, this is a prime example of it. Sheikh Abdul Karim Ha'iri is giving a prime example. This servant is saying, I know who she is, they're fine, I know and everything, there's no problem. And so some people, I've witnessed this in centers, because I say in America because we actually don't have this issue in England. People don't come and beg outside the centers on the day of Jumu'ah. So they came, I've said, oh no, they're fine, they get enough money, don't give them anything. In the searing heat of Texas, there's a lady sitting there with her child, ask him some money, he'll be like, no, she doesn't need it. Whatever it is. I was saying this the other night to some brothers, that, they're saying, where do we draw the line? People come to us, oh, my car's run out of fuel, can you give me money for my fuel? Or I haven't got any food, what do we do? See, there's a fine line between this person is lying or I don't have full knowledge of what the situation is. So even if it's a little bit, even if you can't accept that you're going to give this person the full $30, $40 that they're asking for, even if it's a couple of dollars, just give it, just in case that this person, and then the lives of the Imams are such that, whoever came, they never asked that, what is your need? Rather, they just gave. Someone asked them, they gave them. Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen in the battle, he's fighting. And the person says to him, Ya Ali, give me your sword. Amir al-Mu'mineen takes it and gives him his sword. He's fighting him. Says, Ya Ali, why did you go and give him your sword? He says that Ali cannot bear that a man ask him for something and Ali not be able to give it to him. This is the jud, the level of generosity that someone asks, and as follows when we beg, we give, put in tawakkal ala Allah. So he says, why do you say? He says, I know where she lives. She lives there, her husband's there. Sheikh Abdul Karim Ha'iri at night takes a lamp, he lights it, he walks through the streets to the house, he knocks on the door, he inquires inside the house, sees the woman is there, truly they haven't got any coal, the husband is ill and they have no food. Sheikh Abdul Karim Ha'iri goes back, he orders his servant to take coal towards for them. And then he calls up a cook and he says, go to their house and cook them food. Then he says to his servant, whatever small amount of meat that we bring, if it's a pound, a kilo, whatever that we bring in our home, I want you from tomorrow when you go out and buy that meat to separate it 50-50, bring half home, take half to them. This is the life of our ulama. Those that struggle to bring the religion to us. And that's why they're still alive to this day. Their names still live on to this day. Because this infaq, this giving. I often read the story of Ayatollah Ni'matullah Jazairi. Ayatollah Ni'matullah Jazairi, he says when we were students of the religion, we didn't have enough money to buy food. So we would go to the fruit and the vegetable market and we would wait till it had closed. And where the people had thrown the skin peels and the rotten fruit, we would go towards it and pick that fruit up, wash it, cut away the bad bit, or wash the skins of that fruit and that vegetable, and we used to eat them. That's how we survived. This is how this religion reached us. People went through great difficulty. Giving, see, if they had been bakhil, if the ulama, those people like Ni'matullah Jazairi, Rahmatullah alayhi, had been bakhil, what would they have done? They could have said, oh, forget this, I can get a job. Why am I studying this religion? Why am I studying this way when I have to eat skin peels? Forget it, be done with it, get a job, no problem. But no, people struggled. Because that generosity extended beyond themselves. They knew that they had to go through this difficulty to help, to guide. And it's that level of, helping people. And then those that go out, when someone comes to help you, that's one thing. But when you go out to help, that's another thing. Ayatollah Burujardi says that one day I saw in my dream my great-grandfather, Sayyid Jawad Burujardi. He says, I saw him in the gathering of Rasulullah. There were many ulama that were very senior that were sitting in that gathering, but yet my great-grandfather was sitting right next to Rasulullah. Rasulullah looked towards me. He said to me that, do you want to know why your grandfather is sitting next to me when all these other ulama are here? He says, yes. He says, because others went and gave to those who came to them with their problems and their mas'alas. They gave to them when they asked from them. Says your great-grandfather was that person that went actively looking for people with problems and difficulties so that he could help them. It's a different level. There is a level that is worse than bukhl. It's that level where a person is known as the person shuha. Someone sees the sixth Imam going around the Kaaba doing the single dua, Allahumma ghni shuha nafsi. Oh Allah, save me. Allahumma ghni shuha nafsi. Allah, save me from this shuha. What is shuha? It's I don't want to give, but I become uneasy and upset when someone else gives. This type of person, this bukhl, is now not just reserved to them, they actively stop others from giving as well. They become uneasy when they see someone else giving, they become upset when they see someone else donating, they become upset when they see someone else giving time. That disease is even worse. Inshallah, we'll finish the hadith off tomorrow, because there's 6 points that Amir al-Mu'mineen lists. But the first being bukhl. The person that is bakhil will not be able to achieve that happiness in this world. The person that doesn't remember others, the person that doesn't give in the way of Allah, these are all, traits of the bukhala. And tonight we've been asked to do a special dua for a young child, Maryam Dala, 9 months old, who's ill, as well as others. Yesterday I had the opportunity to go on Vilayat TV, and again they spoke of a couple of children that were very ill as well as members of this community, parents of people, those that are in attendance that are suffering from one or another illness. Please join me in reciting 5 times ayah amma yujibu for them. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Amma yujibu al-muhtarra idha da'a wa yakshifu as-su'. أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء. Allah, for the sake of this dua, those that are ill, give them shafa'ah. Those that are suffering from one or another illness, wherever they may be, those illnesses that we're suffering from within our nafs, Ya Allah, remove them and give us shafa'ah for them. Oh Allah, those who are, forgive our sins. Oh Allah, forgive the sins of our parents. Those of our parents that are alive, give them long lives. Those of our parents that have left this world, give them a place next to Ali Muhammad in Jannah. Oh Allah, those who are in debt, clear their debts. Those who are in education, make them successful. Oh Allah, keep our ulama and our maraji' at the head of our institutions. Oh Allah, keep safe the Shia of Ali Muhammad around the world. Oh Allah, destroy the enemies of Tashayyu in whichever form they may come. Oh Allah, hasten the reappearance of the Imam of our time and allow us to be amongst his true muntadhireen, his true awaiters, for the acceptance of these du'as and any other du'as that the brothers and sisters have brought. Please recite 3 loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. سبحان الله والحمد لله ولا إله إلا الله والله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجه. أشهد أن محمدا رسول اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أشهد أن عليا ولي الله. أشهد أن أمير المؤمنين وأولاده معصومين هجج الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح. حي على خير الأمل. حي على خير العمل. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. لا إله إلا الله. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله وسلم.
हेडफोन ऑन नहीं है سبحان ربي الأعلى والحمد ربي صل على محمد وآل محمد.
الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر.
الله أكبر.
سبحان ربي الأعلى والحمد ربي صل على محمد وآل محمد. يا لطيف يا كريم ارحم عبدك الضعيف الذليل الحقير المسكين المستجيب.
الله أكبر. الحمد لله كما هو أهله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا علي يا عظيم يا غفور يا رحيم. أنت رب العظيم الذي ليس كمثله شيء وهو السميع البصير. وهذا شهر نظمته وكرمته وشرفته وفضلته على الشهور، وهو الشهر الذي فرضت صيامه عليه، وهو شهر رمضان الذي أنزلت فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان، وجعلت فيه ليلة القدر وجعلتها خيرا من ألف شهر. فيا ذا المن ولا يمن عليك، من علي بفكاك رقبتي من النار، في من تمن علي وادخلني الجنة برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم أدخل على أهل القبور السرور. اللهم أغني كل فقير. اللهم اشفه كل جائع. اللهم اكس كل عريان. اللهم اقض الدين كل مدين. اللهم فرج عن الكل مكروه، اللهم رد كل غريب، اللهم فك كل أسير، اللهم اسلك كل فاسد من أمور المسلمين، اللهم اشف كل مريض، اللهم سد فقرنا بغناك، اللهم غير سوء حالنا بحسن حالك، اللهم اغز عنا الدين واغننا من الفقر انك على كل شيء قدير.
मेरी एक्सप्लेन फातह की गुजारिश है आप सबसे सैयद मरूम के लिए सैयद शब्बा रज़ा, सैयदा जमीला बानो, सैयद ताहिर रज़ा, सैयद अली ऐनुल्लाह रज़वी, सैयद अनीस फातिमा, सैयद हसन अहमद जाफरी और सैयदा दीबा जाफरी और जुमला मोमिनात क्या है।
There has been a request for recitation of Dua Sahat for the following individuals: Sayyid Ali Jazib Radawi, Sayyid Nasir Abbas Radawi, Ajillah Sayyid Ali Sistani, Alama Talib Jawhri, and all the mu'mineen and mu'minat that are ill here in Houston and around the world. Please again join me in reciting 5 times Amma Yujibu. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Amma Yujibu al-Mustarra idha da'ahu wa yakshifu as-su'. 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 Salawat. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله، أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله، أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله، أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله، أشهد أن عليا ولي الله، أشهد أن عليا حجة الله. حي على الصلاة، حي على الصلاة، حي على الفلاح، حي على الفلاح، حي على خير العبد، حي على خير العبد. قد قامت الصلاة، قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر، الله أكبر، لا إله إلا الله. استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه من كل ذنب. يا محسن وقد أتاك المسيء. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، الرحمن الرحيم، مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم، صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر، وما أدراك ما ليلة القدر. ليلة القدر خير من 1000 شهر. تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر. سلام هي حتى مطلع الفجر. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سبحان الله، سبحان الله، سبحان الله. سميع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده.
ربي صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمد ربي صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. كذلك الله ربي. الله أكبر. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم إنا نرغب إليك في دولة كريمة تعز به الإسلام وأهله وتذل به النفاق وأهله وتجعلنا فيها من الدعاة إلى طاعتك والقادة إلى سبيلك وترزقنا بها كرامة الدنيا والآخرة. اللهم عجل لوليك الفرج. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. ربي صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. ربي صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. الحمد لله كما هو أحمد. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد بحول الله. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمد ربي صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمد ربي صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. بحمد الله. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. ربي صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. ربي صل على محمد وآل محمد. يا لطيف يا كريم ارحم عبدك الضعيف الذليل الحقير المسكين. يا الله الله أكبر. الحمد لله كما هو. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر، الله أكبر، الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا علي يا عظيم يا غفور يا رحيم، أنت رب العظيم الذي ليس كمثله شيء وهو السميع البصير. وهذا شهر عظمته وكرمته وشرفته وفضلته على الشهور، وهو شهر الذي فرضت صيامه علي، وهو شهر رمضان الذي أنزلت فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان، وجعلت فيه ليلة القدر وجعلتها خير من ألف شهر. ويا ذا المن ولا يمن عليك، من علي بفكاك رقبتي من النار في من تمن عليه وادخل الجنة برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم ادخل أهل القبور السرور، اللهم اغن كل فقير، اللهم اشبع كل جائع، اللهم اكس كل عريان، اللهم اغفر دين كل مدين، اللهم فرج كل مكروه، اللهم رد كل غريب، اللهم فك كل اسير، اللهم اصلح كل فاسد من امور المسلمين، اللهم اشف كل مريض، اللهم صد فقرنا بغناك، اللهم غير سوء حالنا بحسن حالك، اللهم اغزنا الدين واغننا من الفخر، انك على كل شيء قدير. السلام عليك يا سيدي ومولاي يا رسول الله. السلام عليك يا بارس القرآن. السلام عليك يا محمد بن عبد الله ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب. السلام عليك يا سيدتي ومولاتي يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة النساء العالمين. السلام عليك يا حسن المجتبى. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا غريب الغرباء وبعيد المدى. السلطان بن حسن علي بن موسى الرضا. السلام عليك وعلى آبائك السبعة. وعلى أبنائك الأربعة وعلى أختك فاطمة المعصومة ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا سيدي ومولاي يا صاحب العصر والأمر والزمان، سيدي الأمان 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 من فتنة الزمان. السلام عليك يا خليفة الرحمن، السلام عليك يا كعبة الإيمان. اللهم أرني الطلعة الرشيدة وغرة الحميدة، وكن ناظري بنظرة مني إليك، وعجل فرج وسهل مخرجا، واجعلنا من عوانه وانصار المستشهدين تحت لوائه. السلام عليك أهل بيت النبوة جميعا ورحمة الله
वही भाई तो वो कौन हमारा वक्त को ज्यादा वक्त को इन लोगों को होता है ये भेजा आ जाइए सज्जाद यहाँ पे
Dude, I told him I was gonna share it. He already got it.
No, this dude, this isn't.
Just sit here, sit over there. Just sit here. Sit over there.
So I mean, if you're here as well, I have the other people. But don't worry, you're full of your place.
Your brother. I love
लेना है Just log me. Yes. But where are we gonna do it? Okay. Actually, that's not bad.
Not me. Yeah, water is why are you drinking this season,
There is no train for there. I don't know, it's like 25 minutes.
guys, this season was one of Florida's best seasons ever.
Last time you went to 24 hours was the pool.
We all here was. I thought it was what is that's why I said no, you did. You said taco.
You going? You going to get up? They're having a campfire at the back of the
Yeah, that's why it's almost the closest. That's why it's best. Dude, Chelsea, right next to no, Chelsea is all the way
where Microsoft was working with Sony. One thing is Microsoft and Sony working together so that players on Xbox and PlayStation connect to the same server. I read that they're also trying to integrate PC. So if they do that, we can actually close that up and advise it on PC. Actually, no. That's not true. You got a console for $300 using the same hardware that a console has, and you built a gaming PC. That's one minute, but the thing about consoles, if you buy a console for say $300, the company selling it to you is selling it to you at a loss. Creating the Xbox itself is actually more expensive. The way companies make their money is off that's why some games are like $80. That's like
mean, there's a couple, man. We're doing right the course of work. So bring that to the 1 hour before you break the power. Before you train it. I would suggest
How do you see your mom?
You probably could do
That's okay.
That's basically maybe some No, we'll be right back. Is there a bench? You can say you're me, what? No, I'm just kidding. Go into the left. Go guys, let's go. Nah, boy. You guys. What about that one?
No, this is faster. That's a flea.
Why are you pointing at your food?
If you want more easy, you have yeah, I can tell. It's a white shirt. See, I told We're gonna recess, alright? We're just gonna dog money. Easy. Yeah. Do you have contact?
You're rich.
Doesn't feel shy.
Nah, he probably sent his dad a letter so he didn't ask him himself.
Okay, then why don't you ask your mother?
Why did you bless her and everything
Yeah, those are his dads. They used to be his dads. They used to be so nice. Nah, boy, if you went to his house when you guys had a bunch of see how long ago.
No, I remember going to his house. I went to his house once, and when the one was still one.
Yeah, I went once this year. No, last year.
You've only been to my house like 2 or 3 times.
No way, not one time.
In this year? My whole life? Right. No, you probably won't.
He probably kept doing it for them.
Oh, actually, if you take that out, then like literally.
Yeah, other than that. Like, oh, you got it.
No, actually, I've been to Elevate more than I've been to
Didn't you come on channel?
because they had the Julus. I did come on channel. I wasn't even here on channel. Not last week, 2 years. I wasn't there.
Well, you did like.
Actually, I come every year. It's like, I come channel.
It's like fat ball.
Come on, let's go. No, there's some jalebi juice.
मैं आपके बाद निकला हूँ
यार खाली वाइफ को उठा नहीं गया देख के मुझे बिगड़ से निकल जाए यार सही में आते हुए तो मुझे छोड़ दे